Standing by with news of the team lineups.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael. This has clearly been a somewhat fractious rivalry in recent times, and as you say, their third competitive meeting of the year. And for that, host Cavan once again select former midfielder Raymond Galligan to be their man in goal. There's a debut for 22-year-old Padraig Faulkner alongside two experienced campaigners, Killian Clark and Rory Dunn. The half-back line shows two changes from the recent League Two final, Fergal Flanagan and Niall Murray, plus DCU's Conor Moyna. Midfield will be changed because Cian Mackey is replacing Liam Buchanan, but it's unlikely that he will be in there partnering Tomás Corr. The very mobile Dara McVitie starts at wing forward in the company of two very influential players, Cavan's captain Garrod McKiernan and Martin Riley. While up front, joining David Givney and Michael Argue, is the returned Shawnee Johnston, whose last championship appearance for Cavan was against Longford in 2011. Armagh's challenge begins with their goalkeeper, and today it's 30-year-old Paul Courtney making his debut in the championship. Cornerback James Morgan plays here today in spite of having a damaged wrist, which will necessitate an operation at the end of June. The listed half-back line includes Andy Mallon and Kieran McKeever. Between them, they have 98 championship appearances. Versatile Brendan Donaghy is down to partner Ethan Rafferty in midfield, but he's a player capable of filling many a role. The half-forward line shows Rory Grugan lining up with Tony Kernan and the former St Paul's school star Kieran O'Hanlon, who made his debut here 3 years ago. While in the full-forward line, number 14, Stephen Campbell, accounted for nearly 40% of Armagh scores in the recent Alliance League, but is usually an outfield player with his club. Cian Mackey. Shawnee Johnston looking for the first score, and I think he's got it. Big roar of approval.
Yes, indeed, a huge roar of approval, but I think they can thank Raymond Galligan for a confident piece of goalkeeping on the first place. Then giving the ball out to Mackey. Mackey, a lovely assist that time to Shawnee Johnston, and that'll do his confidence the world of good. I think he got a goal in 5 the last day he played against Armagh. That has got him up on a very good start.
Looking for their first score in this match. They've had 3 attacks. Here's Charlie Vernon, and Charlie Vernon had his jersey pulled back. This on his first free kick in this quarter-final. That is no trouble doing. McKiernan trying to feed it forward. Again, too many backs there. And I do think Armagh have learned maybe a little bit from the Tyrone experience. It's in-depth defence. It's breaking quickly here this time through Ethan Rafferty. Oh, this will be some point. Great score.
That's a wonderful score. Again, came as a consequence of a wayward pass from a Cavan player. I think it was maybe Niall Murray going forward with the ball. But that time, McFarlane, I think it was, took his chance. Great score from distance. Comes in, that's a bad tackle. And certainly it'd be interesting to see.
7 against Derry in the last league match. Very good left foot. Expert free taker. There's an illustration. And it's 3 points to 2. Championship. Shawnee Johnston, as he's done so often in the past for Cavan, can put them level here. Well directed. Influence in today's match. Missed the 2013 match because of a knee injury. Under-hit that one. Goes off a defender. It's gone for a 45. Did play out the field back in 2012. Now, can he give the team the lead? Yes. Garrod McKiernan breaks it down. Conor Moyna takes it on. Cian Mackey did well to contain it. Slipped back in here to Johnston. Nice score. He's got 4 already, 2 from open play. Terry Highland players inside the Armagh 45-metre line. So they're attacking the kick out, and McKiernan has that tap down from Martin Riley and duly finishes in style. First of the day for him, young former Armagh star from the 1980s. Good angle for a left-footed kicker, sufficiently in from the far sideline, giving himself every opportunity. They haven't scored now since the 10th minute. And they got this one, so they went 9 minutes without scoring.
Zonal defence, maybe they're just forsaking or neglecting the one-to-one marking.
I don't think anybody's marking him is the short answer. Again, the goalkeeper comes, Paul Courtney.
Well, an outfield player, he's dying to get outfield.
Charlie Vernon once again started his career as a midfielder or half forward, of course. Back out as far as Aidan Forker will suit a left-footed kicker, but can't quite measure it. Riley, they're just not winning these kickouts anymore. Garrod McKiernan with his right or left, doesn't matter. Another for him, another for Cavan. 7-4, they're leading. Slowing it down. That time, Aidan Forker and Niall Murray got in a tussle. Here's Martin Riley. Goal, surely. McVitie scores. Second ever championship goal for Darragh McVitie. Delighted on the bench. 174 points. In the 25th minute. Moyna flying forward past Colin Waters. Letting it in quickly to Garrod McKiernan, taking it in his stride and scoring a spectacular point. A third for Garrod McKiernan, and already it is looking like Cavan's day. Maybe. Anyway, over 15,000 so far. Ethan Rafferty needs to nail this one. Straight in front of goal. Shouldn't present a major problem, it doesn't.
Two beautiful exhibitions of fielding. First of all, McKiernan from the kick out, beautifully flighted ball, diagonal ball, and Givney, I think Ciarán McGinney talked about his threat during the week.
Now 31 years of age, and now Campbell taking time over it, but this shouldn't really be very difficult for him. Oh, he didn't manage to do it.
Oh,
that's inexplicable.
That sums him up, it must be said.
Missed a simple chance of getting a point a few minutes ago here from Stephen Campbell's free kick. A much more difficult kick this time, and it lands beautifully over. One man you can depend upon in a crisis situation like this is Tony Kernan. Can he make it here? Good kick. Does it travel? It does. A second for Stephen Campbell.
Open, Cavan could have really just shoved them over the edge there, but Armagh got 3 of the last 4 points to keep them within touching distance. But Armagh, for most of the half, looked a bit of a mess. They seemed to be totally disorganised. Nobody knew what they were at. Brought on 2 subs early on, and Cavan have a bit more about them. Certainly have most of the best individuals on display. Garrod McKiernan, Cian Mackey, nobody seems to mark him. Darragh McVitie, David Givney. Overall, Cavan look a much better organised outfit, and barring some disaster here, letting in a couple of goals, it would be hard to see Armagh beating them now.
You mentioned the subs, Colin, and there may have been particular reasons for this, Joe, that I don't know about, but still, you think to yourself, you spent weeks building up for a big match, laying out your plan, and then you make 2 changes in the first half.
It's typical of the malaise of modern Gaelic football. These Armagh players are segregated away from their clubs. They don't play club football. Vast resources are poured into this. I mean, I don't know what sort of power or personality Ciarán has to be able to achieve this, as he did in Kildare, he's now doing in Armagh. And he seems to have a total vice grip on what happens in the county, and this is the outcome of that. I mean, bringing in a goalkeeper 2 weeks ago, bringing in a goalkeeper to make his county debut today. I mean, the kick-out strategy for them has been a disaster. They've been turned over. 4 points have come from that. It's put huge pressure on them. Tony Kernan's playing centre-half forward. He was the Ulster Club Footballer of the Year. One of the best, really genuinely, one of the most artistic footballers in Ireland. He's irrelevant there today. You know, Stephen Campbell, a very dangerous forward. Armagh have some very dangerous forwards, and yet the game plan has got nothing to do with them. There's no reference point for them in that game plan, and to me, it's just bewildering. It's a mess. They're producing nothing. They scored 5 frees, and I think 2 or 3 of those were soft frees. And if truth be told, I mean, what is the point of this? Like, what is the point of this? They swear allegiance to the cult of Ciarán. You know, you get 8 Cross-McGlean players leaving the panel because of the lack of imagination, the lack of fun in the group. I mean, we have exactly the same problem in Derry, and this is happening all over the country, and this is an urgent debate that needs to be had. This professionalisation of the game, which has taken the fun out of it from players. It's taken their lives away from them. They're not allowed to play club football, and this is what we have to endure. This is what we have to watch. This is the outcome.
I suppose we have to be mindful here, gentlemen. There are only a few points down at half-time.
Who benefits from this? But in
maybe
general,
it's a bit early to start flogging them just yet.
No, I don't mean Armagh just in general. I'm making a more
I know
general.
that. I accept that.
Who benefits from this?
Joe should say what he thinks instead of.
No, come on. You've written about this as well. Come on.
Yeah,
That's just a cliche.
Of course you're right. Of course you're right. Because, like, club football is suffering. And people make the mistake always of talking about lack of club football. It's not lack of club football in any county. It's lack of club football without the county players. And it's destroying club teams because they're saying, what's the...
5 points in front, start of the second half. Garrett McKiernan down there. Ball landed on the... picked on the ground by Tomo Score. Free kick. Chance for Armagh then to launch the first attack with Aidan Forker. Rory Grugan. Can they set the pace now with Tony Kernan kicking? That's an impressive start, about 20 seconds in. That's broken down well to Tony Kernan again into a two-man inside forward line. Campbell's one of them. Jamar Hall is the other one. Nice change of direction. That's on target. That's a bit more like it from Stephen Campbell.
Farley from Virginia.
It's a lovely kick out, straight out as far as Conor Moyna. Then he skips away quickly from Ethan Rafferty. Moyna feeds it forward to Mackey. Mischief here. Oh, that's going to be a penalty, I think.
Oh, it had to be a penalty, Gerb. Once more, Mackey in the move, steps inside the defender, but he's definitely tripped that time, foot tripped as he's going through, just about to take the kick.
And the penalty taker, it looks to be like it's going to be Martin Riley who will take it. He's scored just once in the championship, a goal in the past. He's got a second championship goal here, Martin Riley. After 44 minutes. Beautifully taken penalty. McKeever towards Grugan. And this time the referee brings the ball towards the penalty spot because it's a penalty for a drag down. And maybe a lifeline for Armagh here.
I think the actual pull was inside the large rectangle. That is a penalty.
Well, if any game needed an Armagh goal, they've been trailing the whole time. This is it. Stephen Campbell has got 6 points in the match so far. Has to get this. Everybody back. Campbell saved. Raymond Galligan's the hero. A miss by Stephen Campbell. Didn't hit it particularly well, and the goalkeeper judged it by going straight down to his right-hand side, and Campbell can curse his luck. And by the same token, Cavan can come forward and score the next score through Shawnee Johnston. That is a 4-point turnaround. Campbell should have scored from the penalty, didn't, and up the field went Cavan, and now it is 2-13 to 12 points. Looking to get another score there, Conor Moyna. Instead, it's McVitie. Off the post and over. One of those days. He'll end with a goal and a point to his credit. Tony Kernan playing around the edges and finally pumping it in there towards Kernan. That's Tony Kernan, and eventually won back by Cian Mackey. And the referee side decides that is enough. And Terry Hyland and his squad have done a right good job here in a potentially tricky afternoon. They came in as favourites, they justified favouritism. Final score here is Cavan, 2 goals and 16 points. Armagh, 14 points.
Yeah, we're very happy to get a win. You know, the first round of the championship can be always a sticky one, you know, and it hasn't been for Cavan the last couple of years. Like, we were probably knocked out of the championship by the eventual Ulster champions the last 2 of the last 3 times this last 3 or 4 years. So it was good to get that one out of the way.
From your own point of view, is it good to get that first championship match back and out of the way?
Yeah, I suppose, you know, got a good run in the league, picked up a bit of an injury at the end, but good to be back playing in championship football. I suppose that's why you play, you know, you train so hard during the year to try and get back for these big championship days, and big Cavan crowd here, and we're delighted now to get the win.
What you did today, is that enough to beat Tyrone, do you think?
Probably not, but Tyrone's a totally different animal. It'll be a totally different game. It'll be more cagey. They'll be playing more defensive. Every time you go out to play football in Ulster is a difference.
Well, look, we're looking to get to an Ulster final. It's a long time since Cavan were in an Ulster final, and we're playing one of the best teams in the country. They gave us a bit of a lesson a couple of weeks ago, so we have to learn from that, look how we can progress, and we're looking forward to whenever that is, 3 weeks' time in Clonus, and we'll give it a good rattle.
Indeed, and let's see the draw for the Ulster Championship. As you see, Cavan will now play Tyrone in the first semi-final. That's on June the 19th. Well, Desi, an impressive win for Cavan. Was the result ever in doubt?
No, I don't think so. There was a time in the second half, maybe, when Armagh missed the penalty, you would say that it was getting close and there was a bit of momentum, but I felt Cavan were very comfortable throughout the game. I think they gave an accomplished performance. Coming into this match, I would have felt that Armagh had a lot to prove, and it was a good opportunity coming into the championship for Kieran McGeeney and his players to kind of right a few wrongs. They were hammered earlier on in the league, but it didn't work out like that. I thought Cavan were very comfortable, and Terry Hyland would be delighted going into the next round.
What did you make of Cavan today, Pat?
Well, first of all, just thanks for the loan of your tongue. In fairness, Desi, you have some selection. I didn't quite like those frilly ones, but anyway, thank you very much. Cavan, I was very impressed by Cavan, particularly in the first half. I thought they played lovely football, transitioned quickly from defence to attack. Played with pace, playing with confidence. 8 different scorers today. They're a nice team. They'll put it up to Tyrone. It's some transformation. The first 2 league games, they were averaging 11 points a game. That third game against Meath, 7 points down, won by 16. And since then, they're averaging 22 points a game, with the exception of the Tyrone match. You talk about game plans, and for the last couple of years, Terry Hyland had Cavan playing a game plan which was ultra defensive, and it wasn't playing to their team strengths. I think, sometimes, when it comes to coaching and when it comes to game plans, and you compare and contrast Terry Hyland with Kieran McKeever, yes, a game plan must worry about the opposition and must be defensive in some way. But the key elements to a game plan must be playing to a team's strength, allowing players to express their vast range of skills, and having players enjoying themselves, the freedom to express themselves and enjoying themselves. Cavan, since that in the last 5 league games, look like a team that are expressing themselves, that are enjoying themselves, and are playing because they're skillful footballers and they're playing with confidence and they're attacking. Where, on the other hand, maybe question marks whether the same applies to Armagh.
Yeah, Kieran, where are Armagh now? I mean, they haven't had, it's been they've worked hard, I know they have, under Kieran McGeeney.
Yeah, it's a difficult night for Armagh, and I suppose when you weigh it up, the best team won today and they came in as favourites, and people were talking about an ambush today that Armagh would turn over that league result, but Cavan were just at a step ahead of them. And I suppose the difficulty for Armagh tonight is in the first year you look at a manager and you look and see is he moulding a team. You have to have patience. You have to see what direction the team is taking. Armagh were very poor against Donegal last year, and they were very poor today. And it's difficult because Kieran McGeeney, I'm sure, is a motivated guy. He sets high standards. He sets professional standards. He wants the best for his players. A passionate Armagh man. But to me, it's a balance of getting the game plan that doesn't look fit for purpose, and a combination of coaching as well. Like the strengths that Kieran McGeeney would have as a player in terms of their tackling, they got a lot of men behind the ball today, but the quality of their tackling was very, very poor at times, and they looked like a team that just weren't well coached or well organised defensively, and I think that shone through. Like there wasn't any time where they got 2 or 3 men. They 12, 13 men back, but they didn't turn over much ball. Look, they made it very easy for Cavan. So I think there's it's about setting good standards, but I think you have to bring good people around you as well. You have to, and maybe that's the missing link in Armagh. I don't know.
I've been a critic of Kieran McGeeney over the last number of years, and I certainly don't rate him as a top-class manager. At the same time, I will say that I feel that the criticism level on him is very much over the top. Armagh are a team who haven't the conveyor belt of young talent coming through. They were a team who went into today's game without Jamie Clark, arguably one of the top 6, top 8 forwards in the country. There was no Kevin Dyce, who was their best player last year. There was no Keelan Rafferty, who's the ball winner around the middle of the field. And there was no Andrew Murnan, who's their target man in the end. They're a young team. They had only Andy Mallon and Kieran McKeever are the old. So I felt, I was listening to Joe today, and I felt just Joe was over the top in his criticism. And when he talked about Crossmaglen fellas not making themselves available, talking to Crossmaglen players, that is not true. And Joe's a brilliant debater, a brilliant wordsmith, brilliant at arguing. But sometimes, on the Sunday,
that's Joe now. But let's talk about Armagh.
But let's be fair. I think you know, you have to play the hand you're dealt with, and I think he's dealt with it.
I think there's an element that they're just not good enough, and I think you can talk about Crossmaglen all you want, but probably a couple of Crossmaglen's best players were playing.
Yes.
Aaron Kiernan, okay, not playing, 29 years of age, you'd still probably expect that he's something to offer Armagh, but he didn't get picked a couple of years ago, and maybe he decided, rather than have a big fallout, he decided to opt out of inter-county football. He could certainly offer them something. Jamie Clark opted out of Crossmaglen himself. That's not Kieran McGeeney's fault. So, as I said, it was a combination of maybe just not being good enough, but I think looking at that Armagh team and looking at how they defended today, I would say that